In today's 5-minute mobility, we will be utilizing your couch to help us stretch out your low back, hamstrings, inner hamstrings, and obliques. As you can see here, different angles using the couch for leverage. In the gym here, we've got the same setup using a bench. So feet are against the bench. We want to get that tall chest, get a real good active body. Checking our time. Legs are totally straight, leaning in here. I've got a lot of hamstring stretch going on as I sit really tall. I can use the bench to give me a little bit of assistance in pulling it inwards. As I go side to side there, you saw I got a little bit more on each side, and then now I drop the head down. We're turning it into some low, mid, upper back stretches. Again, side to side. We're usually prescribing that you're being active in your stretches a little bit. If you're holding a really nice position, then yeah, you can hold it for a long period of time. In most of these stretches, we got a lot of little nooks and crannies and dark places that we want to get at and get deep into. I can grab on, I could try to pull myself in a little lower. You could be grabbing your ankles or calves if you can't quite reach the bench. You could also use a post in the gym or somewhere like that where you can reach your feet beyond, and then the obstacle you're reaching for isn't as far away as the bench is, since it's beyond my feet. As we widen out, you saw with the couch, we were able to have our feet right against it. Clearly this bench is not as wide. I've got very long legs, but maybe you don't have as long legs. I'm using the bench just to give a little bit of leverage, show you an example there of if I don't have a bench. But again, I'm pulling on it, leaning into it, keeping myself in good positions, trying to get a little bit more into each side in that hamstring, just loosen up all the different angles and spots. Again, the bench is not required, but it does help in order to create some different leverages, give you something to rest on, give you a bit of pull. And the idea is that we're always staying in terms of keeping ourselves active in the stretches and making things as easy as possible. This stretch here, you see I rotate my shoulders over to the right, and I'm going to lean into that foot. So my torso is turned towards the leg that I'm stretching towards. That's going to emphasize a little bit more in the hamstring on that side. Allows me to reach in there. A little bit of groin on the back side, so the left side closest to us, but mostly I'm getting that hamstring focused on the right hand side. As usual, if I pull on the foot, it creates a little bit of calf stretch as well. As I shimmy over to this other side, you can see I rotate my torso over so that I'm over top of the leg I'm leaning at, trying to stay somewhat square to it. Using the offhand for leverage to keep me nice and straight, I can reach the far side hand onto the foot, give it a pull, try to get myself down closer to the knee as I stretch into there. Again, staying somewhat active, little bits of movement, tiny bit of foot pull, staying on my clock, keeping the stretches long. Pick a time and stick to it. Today we're doing about a minute on each of the positions, 45 seconds to a minute. I come back to the middle just to kind of reset things, and then now we are going to a side fold. So this means I'm keeping my chest towards the middle and I reach over the side, creating a little bit more oblique stretch involved in here as well. In this case, you can see sort of that I'm just grabbing the foot. I've got my elbow on the inside to give me some leverage to rotate, and I'm reaching over top. I find with the couch at home, this is really helpful to grab onto the side of the couch or underneath the cushion and just allow myself to really create some torque and pull myself over the top there. As I come back this way, you'll see the angles that's created. I'm trying to reach all the way over top to the foot. I see I get a twist there, my neck's a little tight. You can lean your head around, get some spots. Grabbing onto the foot. That far oblique is getting a really nice stretch. My underhand, you can't really see it, is helping to support my elbow there right now. So my left elbow's on the ground, my right hand is under my left elbow, and I'm kind of leaning in there, straighten the shoulder right down, leaning the head over and elongating the neck through the oblique, all those muscles. As always, moving the foot around, increasing the calf tension, trying to get some stretch added into there. Good, try to even it out, come back straight, get nice and straight. We always want to finish with a straight piece if we're doing anything side to side. That's going to allow us to kind of even out and straighten out at the end. I don't want to have one side stretchier than the other. So now I'm easing into this. I'm a little farther than I was. You can see my elbows are nice and far past. I can keep my torso a little bit straighter. Feel it in my groin a little bit side to side. I'm going to back up here in a second, and I'll bring the feet together and just finish with a forward fold. You'll notice I've got the iPad going again. So like we said, we want it to become part of your everyday routine. Take away any excuses you have. So if you like watching Netflix, searching through different videos on YouTube to watch, that kind of thing, have your secondary device nearby so you can listen to audio, podcasts, whatever, but it allows you to stay focused. You can see here I'm getting a little bit more range than I did at the beginning. I'm able to drop my head almost down to the knees, a little bit from side to side. I'll test out usually if I can make sure that I can touch my nose to my knees. I know I've got a pre and post. How did that feel at the beginning? Eventually, as I loosen up, I can get my head almost to the floor. If you have very, very tight calves, it'll be difficult to have your feet flat up against an implement like this, so you might need to back up so that you can point the toes a little farther and not have them directly over the heels. That's a bit of an added stretch in there. Sitting up, straighten out the torso, deep breath. I'll come and stand here so that I can really reach tall, finish out stretching afterwards. So we've got a little retest position, palms flat, good stretch, head through knees, and then a nice tall reach up and loosen it out. Thumbs up. Great job, guys.